Are you ready to get really good at texture baking in Blender? Texture baking is a technique used in 3D to turn our material shader node setups into textures. This allows us to then take our textures into other 3D software, like game engines, which unfortunately is something we can't do with shader nodes alone. This is because every 3D software uses slightly different shader nodes, so they won't be able to translate over easily when converting from Blender to the other 3D software. However, pretty much all softwares will work with textures, as they are just images with information used to power our shaders. We can also use our texture bakes inside of Blender to speed up our own render times. Whereas if we were to just use a procedural material with a million nodes, we will have a slightly longer render time, or sometimes a very significant one. So texture baking can really help here. Also, since you can texture bake pretty much anything, this works great for us as 3D artists. In this course, I will be walking you through the entire PBR texture baking workflow to turn your procedural materials or other shader node setups into image textures so you can then use them in other 3D software or to speed up your render times in Blender, as I mentioned earlier. I will also be giving you some of my premium procedural materials for free so you can follow along with this course using quality examples even if you haven't made your own procedural materials. Of course though, the skills you will learn in this course will still apply to any procedural material or shader node setup that you choose to make. First though, I need to mention some important information that you will need to know before following this free course. For example, if you're new to texturing and materials in Blender, I highly recommend sharpening up your skills in this area first, and if you want a simple way to do that, you can check out my free Texture Basics course here on YouTube in the description. And even just following a little bit of that course should give you a good bit of foundational knowledge to get the hang of materials in Blender. It also gives you a good bit of knowledge on different types of texture maps, which we'll be covering a little bit in this course, as we'll be baking our shader nodes into some texture maps. Once you've got some decent texturing and shader node knowledge, you should be good to go. But you can also follow my old Texture Baking for Beginners course if you want to give yourself a little head start on what we will be covering in this course. Link to both of these are in the description, but the first one is the most important for new Blender users. As for this course's upload schedule, episode 1 and 2 will be uploaded tomorrow here on YouTube, and then after tomorrow, episode 3 and 4 will be released, and I will continue uploading twice a day until the course is completely uploaded. So if you're new to the channel, I'd highly recommend subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on all of this quality, free texture baking knowledge. Apart from that though, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for episode 1. Take care.